So the first thing, I'm repeating something which we did yesterday, and then I'll go further. Those who have attended yesterday's class, it is a revision for them. So first thing which we did, these are the questions related to the functions. So these are the questions people ask in interview about the functions. So these are the most important questions. There are a few other questions which we will take later on. So I'm going to start with few important questions. So one of the questions which people ask is, what is the function statement? So the function statement is something called a normal function. How we write, that is called the function statement. So if I write function A and I write some code inside it, console.log A is called. So this is the normal structure or syntax of the function, and this is called the function statement. So this is a function statement. So interview person can ask, what is the function statement? You can say, normally how we write a function is called function statement. That is function name, and the code which we write, that is called the function statement. Second thing, what is function declaration? So function declaration is nothing but the function statement. If someone asks what is function declaration, so the function declaration and function statement both are same thing. So whatever you write a normal function, it is called function statement, or some people call it function declaration. So function declaration, if I have to write, I will say this is same as function statement. Third thing which we have to understand is function expression. So how to write the function expression? In JavaScript, we can also create a function with a variable name. For example, I can create var a is equal to function, and here I don't give any name, and I can write the normal function. So what is the function expression? Function expression is also function, but it is in the expression format. Expression format means we use equal sign and we write function as a value to the variable. So it will behave same as this function, but the way of writing is different. So we will write var a function, and here I can say console.log a is called. So the only way difference between, there are two differences. One of the difference between the statement and expression is, in expression we write function as a expression. As expression means as a value. This is a value to this variable. So I create a variable and I assign the function to that variable. Here I don't create the variable. I just create the function in the normal way as we do in all programming languages. Now what is the difference between function expression and function statement? Fourth, difference between function expression and function statement. So one difference I told that this is the way of writing is different. So this is written as a value, this is written as a normal function. Another thing is, when we write this, it goes in the hoisting. That means it will be moved to the top of the page when the script will run. So this one will go as a hoisting. So here I will write function statement will be used in hoisting. That is all the functions that is all function statements will be moved to top, or you can say to memory when the script runs or before the script runs. So normally whatever the function is there, all function will be moved to the top of the page or in the memory whenever we write a script. Whenever the function is run, whenever the page is run, this function is moved to the top of the page. But since this is the variable, so this function will not move to the top. Only the variable var a will be moved to top, which has a value of undefined. So this function will not be moved to the top of the page. This will be used only after you define this. After that only you can invoke it like this. You cannot invoke before this function, because this is a variable, and variable is created at the top of the page, but the value is assigned when this line of code is run. So this will give error because a is undefined and function of undefined is error, because a will be moved to the top but the value will be undefined. So this part will be moved to the top but its value will be undefined, and we cannot call function of undefined. Whereas in this case, in the function statement, I can call a before it is written, because this function will be moved to the top and I can call a anytime before even it is defined. So this is the difference between this. So I will say function expression cannot be used as hoisted. Okay, next is fifth. What is anonymous function? Anonymous function is a function without name. Anonymous function is a function without name. So I can write function and I can put without name, and I will say console.log hello world. So this function is created without name, but I cannot directly call this function without name because JavaScript will give error like this. If I put without name a function, it will give me the error. So what is the use of anonymous function? So anonymous function are used generally. So like for example, I have a function log. Any function, I just put name log. Here I put console.log a parameter 1 is param1. I will pass param1 as a parameter to this function. So this parameter can be anything: string, boolean, number, anything. It can be object also, it can be array also, it can be parameter, it can be function also. So in this case, if I have to call the log, here I can, if I want to pass the function, I can pass the anonymous function like this. So I am passing this param1 as a function. Here it is not necessary to put the name here. I don't need to put name here, and it will not give error in this case. But if I write directly this in the code, it will give error. But if we are passing this anonymous function as a parameter or as attribute, it will not give error. So anonymous function can be passed as a parameter to another function. That's why anonymous function is there. Next is named function expression. Okay, named function expression. So we have seen function expression is like this: var a equal to function console.log, something like that. This part is called function expression. But if I put some name here, x, y, z, then it will become named function expression. Yes, Ali is writing x, y, z. So generally, what was this? This is the function expression. But if I put some name, then it will become the named function expression. Now let's create this named function expression and see what happens. So I created this named function expression. Now I can call a by invoking a like this, and a is called. But I cannot call xyz here. Xyz will give me error because xyz is not created. So when I create a named expression function, this xyz is not created globally, but a is created globally with this value, with this code. But this xyz can be accessed inside this function. So for example, if I create function, this named function, and I can call xyz here inside the function, then if I call a, I can see, okay, uh, one second, this is not the right example. XYZ should be the function. Okay, yeah, so right, this is the right one. So we are seeing a is called is here, and this XYZ function is here. So what is this XYZ? XYZ is the function, and that's why we see XYZ here. Okay, I was seeing this console.log, so I was testing. So what's happening here? In the named function expression, this XYZ cannot be accessed at the global level. That is, I cannot access XYZ here, but I can access XYZ inside the function. Because when I call a, this function is run, and we can see this XYZ is nothing but this function here. So what is the difference between named expression function and the expression function expression? In the named function expression, we have given the name to the function, whereas in the function expression, we are not given the name. Okay, so this is the difference. So this is a lot of things you have to do, repeat again and again to understand what are the things. So those who are seeing it first time, they have to do practice it multiple times to understand this. And we will be repeating these things again and again in the class. So even if you are not understanding fully today, you will understand it slowly, gradually. When we move further, we'll be doing 100 times anonymous function, we'll be doing 100 times named function, we'll be doing 100 times statement and function expression. So no worry if you don't understand today completely. Just try to listen first time. Next time if I repeat something, you will easily remember. Now next is the sixth is difference, because those who have done yesterday, they will better understand today, but those who are doing today first time, they will understand better next time. So difference between parameters and arguments. So when I create a function and I have two values to be passed here, a and b, let's say function is c, I write something console.log, param1 is a, and if I write console.log, param2 is b. Since I am passing two values, so I am just writing param a and param1, and then I will call this function c with value of 1 and 2. So when I create the function with these two parameters, this a and b are called parameters. So a and b, what are those? A and b are parameters. But when I pass 1 and 2 to this function, here 1 and 2 are called arguments. This is only the naming convention. Generally, practically it is not used, because you call this argument, or you call this parameter, or you call this parameter this argument. It doesn't matter, the other person will understand it. But for the interview purpose, you can say when we create the function, whatever values we pass, those are parameters, and when we invoke the function, whatever value we pass, this is the argument. So argument is during invoke, and parameters are during definition, wherever you define it. So this is the sixth. Next is the first class functions. In JavaScript, all the functions are first class functions. JavaScript, all the functions are first class functions. They are also called first class citizens. So why they are called first class function, or why they are called first class citizen? The reason is generally function in JavaScript can be passed as a value. Function can be passed as a parameter or as an attribute to another function, and function can also return another function. So in JavaScript, function can do multiple things. It can be passed as a value, it can be passed as an attribute to another function, it can be written from another function. So let's see how it is passed as a value. We have seen the named expression. Here we have created a function as a value. So this example is here functions is passed as a value. Let's take another example of parameter as an attribute. We have seen one example. This one. This is the log and I pass parameter, and here I am passing the function as a attribute. So in this example, I created a function. I call this function and I pass function as a parameter or function as an attribute. And that is the reason the second point is this. Function can be passed as an attribute. That means we can pass function as an attribute to another function. And third is function can also return function. I can write a function A and I can return another function. I can say return another function. So here what I am doing, returning a function. Since function can do multiple things, that is, it can be returned in another function, it can pass as an attribute, it can be passed as a value. Therefore, the function in JavaScript is called first class function. First class functions. Okay, this is all about yesterday, what we did yesterday, all the 7 points. If you want to read more, I have notes at this point. And if you have not understand any point, you can ask me now, or we will be repeating it multiple times in our course. So you will see this a lot more times. Only thing for interview, you have to go through this document and just repeat and repeat in your mind to understand it better, and you can give the appropriate answer in the interview. Otherwise, we will be repeating all these things in our course many times. See, JavaScript is very big. It's not like other languages. I have seen Java, it has very limited thing. But in JavaScript, we have very vast things to understand. Let's say if we have to understand 1000 things, we have just learned about only 10 things. So the rest 990 things are still pending. We have to learn those to clear the JavaScript interview. So we have to pass the JavaScript interview. They can ask anything in 1000 things, or whenever they give you the project, you have to understand all 1000 things to do your project in a better way. And that is the reason we have to do this JavaScript course before we start the React or Node.js. And once we finish this JavaScript, it will be very easy for you to understand React or Node.js because it is all repetition. Let's do little more further now. So someone asked in the chat, what are the anonymous functions? Okay, what are the callback in the function? So I can explain the callback now, but it will be very short. But we are not doing callback in detail now. We will be doing that in next week class because callback is already in my list, and I will teach that at appropriate time because there is a very big example to understand the callback. So I will not be taking it, but I will give you short intro of the callback. Okay, let me see what I want to do today. First I'll finish what I have to do, and then I'll explain in short what are the callback function. Arrow function, not today. When I will take the ES6, then only I will tell you a arrow function. I don't want to confuse the newcomer with those things today. Let's talk about arrays today because arrays are very important in our JavaScript. So what are the arrays? Arrays is a variable which can have multiple values in it. So like for example, I can create array with two rectangular bracket and I can put multiple values in it like this. So what I'm doing, I created the array. Array is created with rectangular bracket. So it is the one variable, but it can hold many elements in it. So these are the elements of the array. Okay, so let's start with this one. We have not done the functions completely. There is a lot to be done in the functions, which I will be doing the next week. Mostly whole week we will go with the functions next week. Whole week will be devoted to the functions. So just remember that array I'm doing because array is needed to do some problems which we will do after some time. So I create an array A, var A equal to array. Array is just an rectangular bracket start and rectangular bracket end. When I do type of A, it is an object. So array is one kind of object. Okay, so whenever we do type of array, it is an object. We have seen in JavaScript, we can create object like curly bracket, where we can put values as a key value pair. For example, name, ABC, like this, name, last name, whatever we want to do, we can do. In array, we can put values inside that rectangular bracket, and these values will have certain keys, and only we are putting the value of that keys. For example, if I put A, B, and C, so automatically array will give 0th position to this value, 1 position to this value, and 2 position to this value. So if this is a 0, 1, 2, and it will ascend, increment 1 by 1. So it is 1, 0, 1, 2 kind of thing. And for example, if I want to access it, if I say A of 0, I can access the first element. If I say A of 1, I can access the second element. And if I say A of 2, I can access the third element. So how I am accessing the array? With the numeric value. Whereas in object, I can access with the key. So if I want to access the name, I will say obj.name. So it is, we are accessing with the key. But here, keys are numeric, and it will increase 1 by 1 number. So it will start with 0, 1, 2, 3, and go on. It will increase like that. Okay, so that is the array. We do array like this. Now I'll ask question. I will create an array A equal to 1, 2, 3. So what will be the value of A1? Answer me. What will be the value of A1? Right. So A1 is 2. So A1 is 2. That means because it starts with the 0 letter, it is a 0, 1, and 2. So this is how it starts. So the A1 is 2, and A0 is 1, and A2 is 3. Like this, we get the element in the array. Okay. Now, let's say I have created this. Now I want to update it. I want that instead of 3, I want 4 to be here. So I can say A of 2 equal to 4. Now if I do A, it is saying 1, 2, and 4. So we updated the last element with the new element, that is the 4. This is how we update it. Okay, let's say if I want to add it, I will say A3 equal to 5. So when I run A, it is going 1, 2, 4, and we added one more element, that is the 5. Now tell me what will happen if I add A10 equal to, let's say, 6. So I put A10 equal to 6. Now tell me what will be this array. I will get 1, 2, 4, 5, and after 5 what I will get? Because up till A3 I put 5. Now suddenly I am not putting A4, I am not putting A5, I am not putting A6, I am directly putting A10 equal to 6. Now what will happen to between numbers? What will be the next number after 5? Ali is saying 0. Uday is saying next element will be 10. No, I am put value is 6. 10 is the key. So you cannot have 10. Uday is saying 10 in the last. Uday is saying, if you see the chat, is saying this. 1, 2, 4, 5, 10. You cannot have this 10 here. You cannot have 10 here because 10 is the key. It's not the value. Here we are seeing the value. So 10 will not be there. Okay, so he's saying 6 here. Okay, one answer is 6. Any other answer? How is saying undefined? Right. So actually, whatever in between values will be there, that will be undefined. So after this, A4 will be undefined, A5 will be undefined, A6 will be undefined, A7, A8, A9, all will be undefined, and we will get A10 as a 6. So all in between numbers will be undefined. So let's see A. What is the A? So A is 1, 2, 4, 5, and empty means actually it is undefined. This is the way this console is writing that there will be 6 elements which are empty, but this empty is actually undefined. Its real value is undefined, and the 6 will be here in the last one. Okay, so now what will happen if I say A100 equal to 2? Now what will happen? Let's see. So it is saying 6 times undefined. Empty means actually their value is undefined. Then we have 6th element, and then 89 times it is empty, and we will have 2 here. Okay, so this is how we are adding the elements in the array. So let's delete the element. What will happen if I delete this 2 number? So I will say delete A of 1 because 1th position is 2. What will happen if I say A of 1? Now what will happen? How the things will look? So whether it will show 1, 4, 5 or it will show 1, 2, 4, 5 or what? What will be the answer? Okay, Ali is saying 1, 4, 5. Because 2 is deleted, so he is right. It may be 1 and directly 4, 5 because 2 is deleted. What is another answer I want? So Ali is saying this will be like this 1, 4, 5, dot, 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 whatever values are there, it will be there, but 1, 4, 5. Any other answer? Okay, Anand is saying 1 empty 4, 5. So if we do A, so it is actually undefined, though it is showing as empty, but really its value is undefined because there is no empty value in JavaScript. So this element becomes undefined, but this place is not deleted. So there is a space here, but its value becomes undefined because we deleted A1. Okay, so that is correct. Anand has given correct answer. Okay, so this is beginning of the array. Let's talk about another array. If I write A, I can keep the values as 1, 2, 3, I can also have the value as another array, and that array can have another value, maybe 4, 5, 6. So if I do A, it is saying 1, 2, 3, and the fourth value is another array which is 4, 5, and 6. So it is not necessary to keep only the numeric or string value or boolean value. You can have object, you can have another array, you can have function also in the value. So I can also create A with value as function. So if I run A, it is saying at the 0th level we have the function. So it is not one second, sorry. It is not necessary we can have only integer or numeric or string. We can have array or object or function or anything which we want. Okay, let me write down one more example. So I will create another array A equal to, I will create first element as array 1, 2, 3, and then I will create another array 4, 5, 6. So the first element is array, second element is also array. Okay. Now if I want to access this 3 number, how will I write? Because if I have normal array, for example var b equal to 1, 2, 3, I can if I want to access this 3 number, I can say b of 2. I'm getting 3. So similarly, if I want to access 3, how will I access with this A? Uday, A02, right. So I will write first A, then I have to go to this element. This is the 0th element, so I will say 0. After 0, I have to go to the last element here. Here, that is the 2. So I will access like this. Okay, if I want to access 5, how will I access this 5? A11, right. A11 is right. A11. It is the 5. Because I have to go to the first element, then I have to go to the 1 again. Therefore, it is saying A11. Okay, now I have a string, and string is 1. I can access this each element with the array concept. So for example, if I want to access O, I will say S of 0. S of 0 will be O. If I say S of 1, it will be N. And if I say S of 2, it will be E. So in the string also, I can access all the letter one by one with the help of this array method. S of 0, 1, and 2. So in array, it starts with the 0 and it increment to the length of this, whatever length of this element is there. Let's take one more example. If I have var a equal to 1, 2, 3. So I can access each element with a of 0 like this. But if I want to see how many elements are there in this array, I can say a dot length, and I will get 3. That is 3 elements are there in this array. So I can get the length of this array with the help of a dot length. Okay, so this is a short introduction to array. Go through it if you have time. Otherwise, my main belief is that everything which is needed for JavaScript, I want you to be prepared in the class only. Even if you don't give any extra time, I want that you should master all the concepts of JavaScript in this class. So that is my main aim. But if you have time or if you want to study again and again, you are free to study, and I will give you notes of this array now. I will give you the link and you can study it whenever you want. Let me put in the chat. Okay, so notes for array is in the chat. If you want to study the array, whatever I showed you today, you can study it. So that's it for today. If you